my name's Sheila. I'm from the Royal Astronomical Society. I'm a planetary scientist and I will be taking your session today. And this is my assistant. I don't know if you can see him. Oh, he's gone shy. Well, he's called Beck and he's 4 and he's my son. We've had all sorts of shout outs today. Yeah, there you are on the screen. We've got Ludo and Heidi in Edinburgh as well. So do keep shouting out and I'll keep trying to read your messages as we do our session. Now today we've got a very special session. We've got Florence from London as well. Today we've got a very special session because about 50 years ago, it was the anniversary, well, it has been the 50th anniversary of humans going to the moon. So today we are going to do a very special session to visit the moon. We've also got Florence from London and we've got Vishak from Kent. So today we are going to go to the moon.
Which songs are we going to do?
Well, I will tell you the songs as we go along. So it has been recently the 50th anniversary.
Hey, but you haven't got the moon done.
I have got my special moon t-shirt on today. So there have been 12 men who have gone to the moon, 12 astronauts who have gone to the moon about 50 years ago. And today we are going to train to be astronauts. We're going to visit the moon. One second. We're going to train to be astronauts, we're going to visit the moon, and we're going to sing a few songs. We've also got Matilda from London, and we've got E.T., Ethan, and his nickname is E.T., and Jet from Brighton. Yes, Beth?
Can I just be the one who can be the astronaut?
Well, you have to train to be an astronaut. Okay, so everybody, if you are able to, first things that we're going to do is train to be an astronaut. So the very first things you have to do in order to train to be an astronaut, you have to be very fit and healthy. So we're going to do some star jumps. Can you do star jumps? We're going to do 5 star jumps. Ready?
I don't know how
Okay,
to
look,
do
I'll
that.
show you. 1, 2, 3. Are you going to train to be an astronaut? 4, 5. 5 star jumps. You can do 5 more if you're feeling really fit and healthy. Today we've got Sebi from London, he's 2. So if you aren't old enough or big enough to do star jumps, maybe you could just make the shape of a star, or you could put your arms in the air and be a astronaut.
I'm really hot.
Oh my gosh, you're too hot. Well, on the moon, it's very cold. Okay, the other thing astronauts have to do is they have to learn how to swim, because scuba diving underneath in the bottom of the swimming pool is a bit similar to being in space. So can we practice swimming? What is your favourite swimming stroke? Is it front crawl? Is it, that was breaststroke. Is it front crawl? Can you do front crawl?
My favourite thing.
What's your favourite swimming stroke?
Doggy
paddle, tiger arms.
Tiger.
We call those tiger arms. Can you do your tiger arm swimming? Oh, I'm seeing some very good swimming strokes there. Okay, what else do astronauts have to do to train to be astronauts? Well, at the moment, one of the ways of getting into space is using a Russian space. Using Russian rockets. Wait a minute. So today we're going to have to learn a little bit of Russian. Wow, that's going to be difficult for those of us that don't speak English, but I'm going to teach you how to say hello astronaut in Russian. So hello in Russian is privyet. Privyet. Can you say privyet? Can you say it? Privyet. Very good. Privyet. Cosmonaut. Can you say privyet cosmonaut? No? Okay. You guys practice saying privyet cosmonaut. Privyet cosmonaut. Yes.
I'm just a bit sleepy.
Okay. Well, you can just sit there, can't you? You can watch if you don't want to take part. So privyet cosmonaut. Privyet cosmonaut is hello astronaut in Russian. Okay. The very last thing to do our astronaut training is to go in what we call the centrifuge. And what astronauts have to do is spin round on their feet and basically see how dizzy they can get and then how quickly they can recover. So let's practice in the centrifuge. Spin, 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 spin. Oh, I'm getting very, very dizzy. How quickly am I going to be able to recover? Whoa! If I'm a very good astronaut, okay. Here, come and do it over here so you don't bang your head. Be careful you don't bang your heads or anything like that. Spin, 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 spin. See how fast you can spin. See how dizzy you get. And then see how quickly you can recover. Okay, and then sit on the floor. Sit on the floor. See if you can recover. So to be an astronaut, you have to be able to swim. You have to be able to speak Russian. You have to be able to do good exercise. And you have to be able to spin in a centrifuge and then recover. That's clever, isn't it?
But how do you do that?
How do you do what? Spin?
No, all the things where you just said already.
Well, we've done star jumps. We've done swimming. We've done Russian. And then we've just done spinning. So there we go. Now we are ready to get into our spacecraft and go to the moon.
But can they come?
Yes, they can. You can show everybody. Right, so the first rocket that sent astronauts to the moon was called the Saturn V. Oh dear. The first rocket that sent astronauts to space was called the Saturn V. And the astronauts, the Saturn V was huge. And the astronauts sat on top of that rocket in a little capsule called the Apollo 11. So to get into the Apollo 11,
will you do this?
Yeah, so we've got Wolverine with us. Wolverine's coming into space with us. You hold Wolverine. So to get up the Saturn V and into the Apollo 11,
I want to get back.
That's fine, he can come too. So to get up the Saturn V rocket and into the Apollo 11, we have to climb up a ladder. We have to climb up a really, really long ladder, all the way up the ladder. And then,
you know, I'm going to jump off on the ladder to climb.
No, so we are climbing up the ladder, up the Saturn V, up the rocket, and then we have to climb through a little tunnel into the Apollo 11 capsule. So now we are in the Apollo 11 capsule, and we are in our little spacecraft on our way to the moon. And it was pretty small, not this small, but it was pretty small. So we are going to sing. So we're going to sing our first song. And our first song is to the tune of I'm a Little Teapot. And the words are, I'm a little astronaut flying to the moon. My rocket is ready. We blast off soon. I climb aboard and close the hatch. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Off we go. So to the tune of I'm a Little Teapot. Do you know that one?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, let's have a go. So I'm a little astronaut flying to the moon. My rocket is ready. We blast off soon. I climb aboard the rocket and close the hatch. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and off we go. Should we try that again? Let's try that again. Okay, I will blast you off this time. So, I'm a little astronaut flying to the moon. My rocket is ready. We blast off soon. I climb aboard the rocket and close the hatch. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and off we go. Well, we like a blast off here. So, in our Apollo 11, sit down. In our Apollo 11, it took the 3 astronauts, can you name them? Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, and Michael Collins. It took those 3 astronauts 3 days to get to the moon. So imagine living in a bedroom like this for 3 days without being allowed to go outside, because outside was space. So it's a bit like now, isn't it, where we can't go to see our friends and our family, we can't go to school and nursery. It's a bit like now, but it's just like astronaut training. So Buzz, Neil and Michael Collins spent 3 days to get to the moon. And while they were in their spacecraft, they had to do lots of things. The first thing they had to do was make sure that the spacecraft was flying. And they had to press buttons on a computer, not quite like the computers we've got today, but can you pretend to be pressing buttons in your spacecraft and pulling levers and doing work on your computer? Okay, and then at a certain point during that journey, they got into somewhere called microgravity. And that means that gravity wasn't pulling them down onto the floor and they were able to float about in their spacecraft. Can you come and float about in the spacecraft?
I don't want to.
You don't want to?
I do.
Okay, come on then. It's a bit like being like Superman and being able to fly, but floating about in the spacecraft. Ooh, can you float about in the spacecraft? Ooh. And they had to do normal things too. They had to do normal things like eating. And do you know, the first meal that they ate in the Apollo spacecraft was beef and potatoes, butterscotch pudding, what else did they have? Chocolate brownies, and grape juice. So let's eat our beef and potatoes.
But I'm eating my chocolate brownies first.
You can't eat your chocolate brownies first. You have to eat your beef and potatoes first, or just the potatoes if you can't eat beef. And then it was butterscotch pudding. And then it was chocolate brownies, your favourite. And then grape juice. Cheers. But because they were in space, they couldn't drink out of normal cups and things. So the grape juice would be in a carton, a bit like the orange squash you get in the carton. So they'd have to suck it up through a straw. And they had to sleep in space as well. They had to sleep in the Apollo 11. They had to get up into their sleeping bags and stick themselves to the floor so that they didn't float away. Now we are going to sing a song that you probably have all heard of called Sleeping Astronauts. Just like Sleeping Bunnies, but sleeping astronauts.
Sleeping bunnies.
Like sleeping bunnies, but sleeping astronauts. So,
what's sleeping astronauts?
Instead of saying sleeping bunnies, we're going to say sleeping astronauts. So, are you going to lie down like a sleeping astronaut? No?
Yeah.
Go on then. So, everybody lie down like a sleeping astronaut. And it goes, see the sleeping astronauts till it's nearly noon. Shall we wake them with our merry tune? Sleep, sleep. Are they ill? Oh, so still. Wake up soon. Hop, little astronauts, hop, hop, hop. Hop, hop, hop. Hop, hop, hop. My astronaut's not waking up. Hop, little astronaut. Hop, hop, hop. Hop, 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 hop. Shall we try that once more? Right. See the sleeping astronauts till it's nearly noon. Shall we try and wake them with our merry tune? Oh, so still. Are they ill? Wake up soon. Hop, little astronauts, hop, hop, hop. 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 Hop, 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 hop. I think my astronaut's still really, really tired. But luckily, we are almost at the moon. We're almost at the moon. If anybody needs a loo, do you know how they go to the toilet in space?
No.
Do you know?
No.
Well, I will let you find out and then you can come and tell me next time. So, well, Michael stayed on board the Apollo 11 and Buzz and Neil. We will in a minute. Buzz and Neil got into the Eagle and went to the moon. Would you like to come to the moon with me from the spacecraft?
Yeah,
come on then. Right. So Buzz and Neil had to put on their space suits. They had to put on their boots.
Can I put mine on?
Well, let's just pretend today. They had to put their space suit on. They had to put their helmet on. You're going to put your helmet on? And then to get from the Apollo 11 into the Eagle, they had to crawl through a hatch. Can you crawl through the hatch from the Apollo 11 into the Eagle? Right, so now there's only two of us. Now there's Buzz and Neil, and we are going to the moon. Michael stayed aboard the Apollo 11 all by himself, but there we go. So we are in the Eagle, and it's a very safe place, and it's going to touch down onto something called the Sea of Tranquility. So we're in Eagle, we've left the Apollo 11, and we're going to touch down onto the Sea of Tranquility. And the first thing...
These things are not going to get lost.
No, the first thing that the astronauts said when they touched down on the moon was, "The Eagle has landed." Can you say that? The Eagle has landed. And then Neil climbed down a ladder and put one foot on the surface of the moon, and he said, "That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind." So he climbed down the ladder and he put one foot on the moon and he said, can you say it with me? "That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind." And then Buzz came down the ladder about 20 minutes later. So Neil spent a bit of time by himself on the moon. Those two astronauts spent 21 hours on the moon, bouncing about, because the gravity on the moon is not as strong as gravity on the Earth. Yeah. We'll do it at the end, right. So, can you do a really good moonwalk for me with a low gravity? So, bouncing around. See, you would fly, basically. So, try walking, and on the moon, because the gravity is not so strong, you would walk like this. Boing, 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 boing. What else did they do on the moon? They dug into the moon and they got rock samples. So can you do some digging? Dig, 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 dig. And see, they brought rock samples back to the Earth. They planted a flag. Can you plant a flag? They planted the American flag, the American flag. What flag would you plant in the moon?
Like a Hulk flag.
You would plant a Hulk flag. Wow, what flag?
And like a
Wolverine. What flag would you plant in the moon? Would you? I would. I don't know what I'd plant.
I think you might want the Hulk.
Oh, maybe I could have the Hulk and you could have Wolverine. Excellent. Okay, what else did they do? They took photos. Click. Say cheese. Click. And then maybe a selfie. Click. Take photos on the moon. Click. Click. Cheese. Cheese. Can you take photos on the moon? Okay. Cheese. Say cheese.
Say cheese.
Or say, the moon's made from cheese. But it's not. It's made from rocks, isn't it? It's made from rocks. And they set up experiments on the surface of the moon. And those experiments are still there. They left those experiments on the moon. Now, do you know how the moon was formed? Do you know where the moon comes from?
No.
Shall I tell you? Well, when the Earth was very young, something smashed into the Earth and a piece of the Earth broke off and that became the moon. Shall we practice that now? Shall I be the Earth? And you smash into me very gently and then you can become the moon.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was the Earth. I was a very young Earth and I was very soft.
No, you become the moon.
Okay, so you'll be the Earth. Okay, so one of you be the Earth, and then you're very young and very soft, and then an asteroid smashes into the Earth. You want to do the smashing, right? You smash into me, gently, smash into me, and a piece of the Earth broke off, and that became the moon. And that is where the moon came from. Okay, and then they got back into their spacecraft, and it took 3 more days to get back to the Earth, and then they splashed down into the ocean just near Hawaii. And those astronauts came back from the moon after 3 days there, 3 days back, and a few hours on the moon. Now let's have a little look. Are you tired? All that travelling to the moon. Now I'm just going to show you a picture of the moon and we can have a think about what these look like. So hopefully you can see a picture of the moon. Now the dark bits on the picture of the moon are called Maria. That means seas, but they're not seas, they're not water. What they are ancient lava flows. So very old volcanoes spewed out lava on the moon and made those dark bits, and the light bits are called highlands. And they're also craters. So they're highlands like mountains, and craters where things have smashed into the moon to make the shapes. And some people think that you can see faces on the moon. What can you see on the moon? Can you see a face?
No, I can.
What do you see? Come and have a look.
I can see. Actually, I can see Thor.
You can see Thor?
No, just like that.
What can you see?
A spot.
You can see spots and a hole. Excellent. Well, different people and different countries think they can see different things on the moon. So there's a face in the moon, and a lot of people in England think they can see a face in the moon. There's a rabbit on the moon if you live in China. There's a toad on the moon if you're Native American. There's a man in the moon if you're German. There's a woman on the moon if you're Indian. And what some of you are replying to me, and you're telling me that you can see dinosaurs. And
I
other
can
things.
see. You know what I see?
Yeah. You can see the Avengers. Well, we have a very Avengers obsessed boy
I was spinning it and I said Wolverine and Avengers.
Wolverine and Avengers. What can you see in the moon? I see a face. I definitely see a face.
Where, Mommy?
Okay.
Where do you see it?
Well, I can see this face here. Look, 2 eyes, a nose, and a mouth. That's the face that I can see.
I can see that head.
You can see a head. Fantastic.
I can see that one.
A scorpion, a dinosaur.
Where's the dinosaur?
I can't see the dinosaur either.
I can't see the dinosaur.
Can you? You have to be very creative and very imaginative. Next time you see the moon in the sky, have a look and see what you can see in the on the face of the moon. Okay, so we have had quite an adventure today. We've trained to be astronauts. We've gone to the moon in the Apollo 11. We've landed on the moon in the Eagle. We dug up rocks, moon rocks. We learnt how the moon was formed. What else have we done? We planted a flag. We took pictures, and then we splashed down into the ocean just off the coast of Hawaii.
Mommy,
yeah.
Can we do Sleeping Astronauts now?
Well, we're going to do a different song. We could do Sleeping Astronauts one more time, and then we're going to do one final song before we finish. And at this point, I should say, we are going to repeat this session in 2 weeks' time. And then in 4 weeks' time, we will do a new preschool session. And if you've got any topics that you want me to do, if you've got anything about space that you want us to do a session about, please email me and let me know, because that would be really, really cool. Okay, so let's do Sleeping Astronauts one more time, and then I'll tell you what the last song is.
Yay.
Okay, go on then. Lie down, everybody. Be sleeping astronauts. I don't know if you can see him. He's sleeping. And you may have noticed as well, Becca's got a Christmas jumper, Christmas t-shirt on today. That's his astronaut spacesuit. Okay, right, ready. See the sleeping astronauts till it's nearly noon. Shall we try and wake them with a merry tune? Oh, so still are they ill? Wake up soon. Hop, little astronauts, hop, 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 little astronauts, hop, 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 hop. My cheeky astronaut is not waking up. He's just very, very tired from his journey to the moon. Now, the very last song that we're going to sing is to the tune of She'll Be Coming Round the Mountain. But the words, the first verse is we'll be orbiting round the moon. Okay, so it goes and it repeats quite a lot, so you can join in. We'll be orbiting round the moon, yes we will. We'll be orbiting round the moon, yes we will. We'll be orbiting round the moon, orbiting round the moon. We'll be orbiting round the moon, yes we will. Then it's we'll be landing on the moon. We'll be landing on the moon, yes we will. We'll be landing on the moon, yes we will. We'll be landing on the moon, landing on the moon, landing on the moon, yes we will. We'll be walking on the moon, yes we will. We'll be walking on the moon, yes we will. We'll be walking on the moon, walking on the moon, walking on the moon, yes we will. And the last one, we'll be landing back on Earth, yes we will. We'll be landing back on Earth, yes we will. We'll be landing back on Earth, landing back on Earth, landing back on Earth, yes we will. Yeah.
Mommy,
Yeah.
can we do another sleeping astronaut?
We will do it after we turn this TV off, after we turn this recording off. I hope you've had a lovely time on our journey to the moon today.
Sleepy.
You're very sleepy. Okay, you can be my sleeping astronaut. I hope you've had a lovely time on our journey to the moon today. I hope you've learned some things and I hope you've had some fun.
I like it that I had fun.
You had fun. Excellent. That's good to hear. And like I said, hang on a minute, hang on. If you want to get in touch with me and you want to tell me what topic to do in 4 weeks' time, please do. Or if you just want to email us with questions or anything like that, then you can email the Eventbrite link and it will come to me. It will come directly to me. I'd like to say goodbye now. Bye from Beck. Are you going to say bye?
Yeah.
Yeah, he is saying bye, but he's also lying down, so you can't quite see him. And it's bye from me. My name's Sheila. Thank you very much from the Royal Astronomical Society.
Mommy.
And I hope to see you again next time.
Mommy.
Take care. Bye.